Live from the internet, it's the Dr. Tom the Frog Show!
Hi-ho! This is Dr. Tom the Frog, and you're watching the Dr. Tom the Frog Show, where we talk about RPGs. I'm so excited to have on Emily Carebass from Black and Blue Games. How are you, Emily?
Hi, Tom. I'm good. It's Black and Green Games, though. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it's green like you are.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. I hope I haven't bruised your ego.
No, not at all.
Fantastic. Now, I've got some notes here from my production assistant, Monkey, that we should lead off the questions here. I need to ask you, what's your favorite color?
It's funny because I'm split between blue and green as my favorite colors. Because green is so beautiful. It's like frogs and like the trees. And but blue is so beautiful and calm, like water and the sky. So black and blue or black and green, I guess those would both work for me.
Pretty cool. Now, I'm curious about that because I understand that you've got a game, it's about driving on snow called Breaking on Ice. Is that right?
It's a little bit like driving on snow. It's about falling in love. So, you get kind of out of control when you do that, too. It's called Breaking the Ice.
Breaking the ice, like at a party. Oh,
yeah, exactly. That's right. Yep.
Now, Andrea, when she was on with Yona at a previous episode, she mentioned that Breaking the Ice was one of her favorite. She played 75 games.
Whoa.
75 games last year.
Huh.
And she said Breaking the Ice is one of her favorites.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. That's high praise then. Definitely.
I'm curious, though, this whole asking the favorite color, what does that have to do with Breaking the Ice? I don't understand the puzzle.
Well, in the game, it's a two-player game where you're playing these two characters that are going on their first 3 dates, and you see if they fall in love. So when I was thinking about how people would make the characters, I thought that starting with the character's favorite color might be a good way to sort of break the ice there. And then you use that color, you pick a color for your character, maybe their favorite color is purple, and then the two players go back and forth and they create sort of an association word web around that color, and they say things that make them think of that color, like, they might think of purple, and they might say purple and think of grapes, or royalty, or luscious velvet, or something like that. And then when you've made a bunch of words, then you decide what your character's like based on that. Like maybe the character really loves wine, and they're a connoisseur, and that's how you figure out who the character is that you're going to play.
Oh, no, that's really great because, starting from a blank piece of paper, that's really hard.
Yeah, exactly. The first time I played it, I played with my friend Vincent, and I said, "So, Vincent, who's your character going to be?" And he just stared at me like, "I don't know. Who's this person?" So I went back to the drawing board and came up with the favorite color thing, and it works much better.
I have to ask, though, what's the replay value? Because my favorite color is always green, which means money, which means all of my characters are filthy rich.
Well, you might play with a different person, and since there's always two people who are making up things about the color, then you're always going to have a different set of things that people will think of.
Oh, okay. Well, so playing with different people, I can do that.
That's right.
Now, I am curious, though. I understand that you're actually got 3 romance games. This is a big thing with you, and it has nothing to do with experience points or killing. So I'm a little bothered by this, but I might be willing to try it, I guess. But anyway, what's going on there?
Well, it kind of came out of writing one romance game. I wrote Breaking the Ice, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, this is just a 2-player game. What if there's 3 people playing? Or what if there's a 5-player group and they want to play something and they want to play my romance game, so what would they do? So I said, well, why don't I write one 2-player game and one 3-player game? That way you could have odd numbers of groups. And then I said, wait a minute, but I've got an idea for another romance game that could have more than 3 players, so why don't I just write 3 games? And that sounded so easy at the time, and then I realized that every game was going to take a little while to write. So I wrote the first one and put it out, and then I wrote the second one, Shooting the Moon, and then a couple of years later I put out the last one. But that I had to wait until I'd played a whole bunch of other games where you get up and walk around and pretend to be people, and that fit really well for that game. So I had to wait like 3 years before I could write these 3 games. And you don't actually kill anybody in them. I mean, it is more about like, seeing how the characters fall in love, or you might like Shooting the Moon, though. It could be in any genre, and then you just figure out why, maybe these characters are pirates, and then you see how love would fit into that kind of action-y adventure story. So that might be more up your alley there, Tom.
Okay, I could totally get into some like love pirate frog action.
Definitely.
Cool. Now, you're actually getting them together for some kind of re-release?
That's right. It's been 10 years since I put Breaking the Ice out. It was in 2005. I can't believe it. It's been that long already. So right now I'm working on revising the games. Just having run them for so many years, there's a few little, not really changing the rules as sort of smoothing them out and maybe making them run a little bit smoother. And I'm going to put them together in one volume, which is what I'd sort of wanted to do at the beginning, but it took me a while to come up with each of the games. So now people can buy them all in one book, or rather, when I get it done, they will. But I've done a lot of the work on the revising already. And then what I'm going to do is add with each of the games some different ways to play, like maybe a couple of the games take a lot of dice to play, so I'm going to work on writing it so they don't need dice at all. And some of the games can have different settings, so I'll include those so that people who already have had the games in the past might want to buy the new volume because there's extra stuff in it.
Oh, man. Unlockables. Is this going to be some kind of crazy Kickstarter that it just goes crazy with all the extra writers? And
I'm actually thinking that I'll just do the revisions and then put it out. I might do a pre-order sometime later in the year, but I'm going to work with some friends to write some introductions and to write some retrospectives, and there are some folks that have been giving me really good feedback that I'm going to sort of fold into the game. But for this particular project, I think that I'll just do it in a sort of a more quiet way. I've got some other crazy Kickstarter stuff in the future that I'd like to do for a fantasy game called Heart of the Rose that I'm working on, because that one, I think it would be so beautiful if I could work with some amazing artists to do lavish illustrations. The game is very influenced by fairy tales and will have sort of a deeply magical kind of feel, so I think it would be really great to be able to have some really gorgeous color illustrations, which I cannot do. So maybe a little later in the year, you can look for some Kickstarter action from me.
I've got a thing about fables because there's that whole Princess and the Frog thing.
Yes, and the Golden Bowl. That's a really great story.
I say it's a little offensive. I mean, it kind of
Oh,
says you don't want to be a frog, and like
that's
there's something
true.
wrong.
I think that maybe that fairy tale could use some updating.
Yeah, it should be Princess and the Rat because nobody wants to be a rat. Seriously. All right. Well, you've told me enough now. Now it's time for a serious question. Are you
Okay.
ready for a serious question?
All right. Yes, I am.
All right. I'm dying to know this one. Rhinos. Are they actually just overweight unicorns?
That's a very good question.
Thank you. My crack writing team got right on that one, and now you have to tell me in your expert opinion. I'm a doctor, so I already know the answer, but you can tell me your opinion.
Okay. Well, there's a lot that they talk about with unicorns liking virgins, right? Back in the Middle Ages, and it was all like, oh, the virgins, the unicorns will come out. I don't know. I think I'd have to see if we could hang out with some rhinos and see if they're crazy about virgins. And if not, maybe that whole virgin stuff is hooey, and unicorns and rhinos are the same thing. So I think that more study is needed on this. But I think it might be possible. It might be true.
There you have it. I think she's on the right track. Virgins and unicorns, that's exactly where I went with it. So
Really?
yes, I have a paper coming out.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Well, Emily, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the Dr. Tom the Frog Show. It was super fun having you.
Thanks so much, Tom. Take care. Have a good night.
You just watched the Dr. Tom the Frog Show, and we hope that you liked what you saw, yo. But if it was a big waste of your time, well, it's free, so that's not a crime. But if it was a waste of your time, yes, it's free, so that's not a crime.